You think you don't need competition, but that's exactly why you're weak. To be honest, you don't lack potential, you just lack proof. Proof that you're actually good at something. When you get good at something, when you become really, really good, that's when you'll actually be confident enough in your skills or whatever you do. Deep down, you know you've been avoiding this, avoiding the one thing that would actually break all your limitations and make you a really great man. What you are avoiding is competition. Competition is the one thing that will actually expose the truth. It will actually tell you who you are. And competition doesn't lie. It doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It actually tells you the real truth, the real brutal truth, where you are in life currently. You always say you want to be dangerous, you want to be respected by people, to become influential, you want to be that guy that everyone looks up to. But the moment you start getting tested, the moment life actually pushes your boundaries, you shrink, you hesitate, and eventually you just disappear. You fear competition. You actually fear that the truth will be exposed and people will come to know your flaws. And then you keep wondering why the hell you keep remaining average. Let me tell you something you don't want to hear. You are not competent. Not yet. And it's not because you're stupid. It's not because you are unlucky. It's actually just because you have never been forced in your life to become competent. You've never been pushed with your back against the wall and been forced to actually fight yourself out. That is why you are not competent. And that is why you are not good at whatever you do. And for you to be tested like that, for you, your boundaries to be pushed like that, so that you actually become competent, it is usually gotten in one place, and that is competition. And the insane part is, the exact reason you are avoiding competition is the exact reason you actually need it. You think you're bad at everything, but come to think of it, you've just actually not been tested. Maybe you try something and it fails, and you just label yourself a loser. You call yourself a failure. You tell yourself you're not good at business. You tell yourself you have no confidence at all. You tell yourself you are not talented, but here's the truth. You've never actually stuck long enough for you to find out if that is actually the case. You just quit very, very early. And instead of just remaining like that and keep on pushing, you just choose to accept that you are a failure. I read a certain story of a guy who was a miner. These people who dig for gold. He had this dream. He once dug a really big hole and he found a piece of gold. And another one, his neighbor, also dug another one. And they both dug at the same level. And so the neighbor eventually got really, really good gold. He got some gold, and the other one, the other miner, never got anything. He continued digging for years and years, and he never found anything. The other neighbor had already sold everything and he was now rich. The other one just decided to give up. He sold all his tools. And guess what? The moment he gave up was the exact moment he just needed to push a little bit more, and he would have gotten at least 10 times the gold that his neighbor actually had. And so this is the same case with you. You actually quit really, really early. You don't give it time to actually manifest into reality. You don't give your dreams time for them to come true. Confidence doesn't come from trying. It comes from staying long enough until it eventually works out. When you feel like giving up, when you feel like everything is failing, that is when you stay. And when you stay, you gain the experience and you learn more and more. And so you become more and more competent. Every time you adapt, you improve. And what forced me personally to stay consistent in whatever I do, it's not motivation, it's actually competition. Competition gives you that spark of adrenaline that you need to actually become more motivated, to become really good at something. And that is what has kept me going. You see me posting videos every day, maybe doing things and showing up every day, learning new things every day, trying new skills, and that is only because of competition. Let no one lie to you. We are in a world that is very, very competent, especially if you are a man. Men are really, really competitive. And if you are there lying to yourself and telling yourself that you should not be competent, or that you are competing with yourself, then just know you are making a bunch of excuses that are bullshit. And the sooner you wake up, the sooner you will actually become successful. So everyone is competing, even if you like it or not, even if you are aware of it or you're not. We are in a really, really competitive world, and the person who competes and wins is the person who actually gets everything. The others get nothing. Once you're competing, you are at that edge of adrenaline, and once you are in that situation, then you can't lie to yourself anymore. The truth eventually comes out. Competition is really brutal because it shows you your current rank. It shows you where you actually stand. And this is something that no one else is going to tell you. With competition, you cannot fake progress. When you do other things, when you're not competing, you can actually fake it and it just looks like you're being productive. But when you're competing, then you cannot fake it, because someone will actually overtake you, or someone will get what you want. So you have no choice but just to be extra productive so that you become the winner. Without competition, you can fake progress. You can make it look like you are doing a lot when you're actually doing nothing. You can just make plans, maybe create a routine or a schedule, and you don't follow through with it, and you just actually feel productive because maybe you just made a plan to do something and you did little to nothing. You did little actually in response to it, and you just feel productive because you just did it. You just prepare yourself and you feel ready. Maybe you're a fighter, you maybe train like 30 minutes a day, and you feel like prime Conor McGregor. You feel like you're unstoppable. But it's actually a lie. Because competition, when you get in that octagon, then you will come to realize that you're not actually that prime Conor McGregor. You're just a loser. And that is why competition is really important. It will show you where you are currently at. I actually had this problem like for the longest time in my life. I used to make plans. I used to feel really productive. I used to maybe make a schedule and just do maybe it's workout, and I'm supposed to have like a 2-hour session. I would just go ahead, do some push-ups for like 5 minutes, and then the rest of the minutes I'm just chilling or resting. I go ahead, do another 10 push-ups, 30 minutes rest, 10 push-ups, 30 minutes rest. And you know, I never got any progress at all. I used to think that I really worked hard, and results ended up showing, and I was just the same. I was actually making fake progress. You can't fake results when someone is better than you in something, or someone is actually dominating you, maybe in martial arts or anything that you do. Someone is really good, more than you. You cannot fake it. That is where delusion is actually destroyed. Most probably right now you are actually really delusional. You just think that you're the best in everything that you do, and quite frankly, the only thing that can prove otherwise is competition. And if you don't train enough, if you don't do the actual progress, and if you don't work hard, then competition is going to show you. It's like a mirror. It shows you your flaws. Competition is the truth. It actually tells you where you're weak, it tells you where you're slow, and it tells you where you're average, so that you can actually pick up on them and learn from them and actually become better. And most people avoid that truth because it actually destroys your ego, which actually leads to the third point that I'm going to talk about. You're not avoiding competition because you're lazy. You're just avoiding competition because you're scared. You're afraid of looking stupid, losing, and being exposed as a fraud. Maybe you've always been that kind of person who always beats his chest in front of everyone and tells people that he is the best in something that he does. Or maybe you always tell people that you are a really competent fighter, and so whenever a fight comes up or anything that would actually challenge you, you start becoming really scared. So instead of actually doing that thing that is uncomfortable, you end up just doing the things that won't get you judged, continuing to beat your chest, continuing to live in fantasies, just like that. I have personally observed this a lot. People always go to the gym, and the same weight that they started with is the same weight that they keep on pushing daily and daily, months and years. That is the same weight they usually work with. And so do you think they are actually making any progress if they are not pushing themselves beyond their comfort zone or actually facing the pain? I have also seen people start a business and it starts doing really well, but they don't end up expanding it. They just live in these negative thoughts. They are pessimists. They just think that when they expand, they're going to incur losses. These are the kind of people who are all talk but no action at all. Because competition actually shows frauds from the real people, the people who are really good at that thing. Those are the ones who will dominate. But the ones who are all talk, who are just blabbing their mouth, then they will get exposed. Ego really hates competition, because in competition your ego will be broken. But guess what? Growth actually requires competition. You cannot grow without competition. You will just remain stagnant. You won't know if you're progressing or not. You're just feeding your ego, telling yourself good things that you want to hear. And if you keep on telling yourself good things and not actually working on them, then you're bound to lose, and you're bound to lose really, really badly. The longer you keep on protecting your ego, the longer you keep becoming more and more weak. You want respect, then you have to earn it. Respect is actually earned. No one actually respects an average guy, a loser, just a guy who lives a mediocre life. No one. And you'll always see this everywhere. You probably just like people telling you that you have potential. That is what you like to hear, but you don't act on that potential. You always give excuses as to why you can't do something in your life. Maybe you have a dream of becoming a high pro fighter, or you have a dream of becoming a really good YouTuber. So you just start with, I don't have a ring light, I don't have a camera, I don't have this and that. You're always making excuses all the time. You have excuses in everything that you do. People actually love results. I didn't make the rules. They are just there since the day we were actually born. When you keep slagging behind, then people won't respect you. They won't see you as someone to look up to. But the person who shows results, if you are someone who is competitive and shows results, then people will respect you. And it comes naturally, just like that. Why do fighters gain respect? Because they step in the octagon, even if they are afraid, even if they know one of them will actually fail. They just step in, they gain the courage, and they work hard, they become good at it, and they just step in the cage. Why do creators become really good at whatever they do and they also get respected? Because they show up every day, they produce content even when they are under a lot of pressure. They just produce results. Why do traders make really good money? Because they actually take risks, real risks with real money, not some bullshit with demo accounts. They actually take good risks. Respect is actually earned after dominating in a competition. And if you're not competing, then you're not worthy of respect. No one will ever respect you if you're not competent. You don't become competent in comfort. You just sit there and think. You need to prepare for something that is coming up, a project, and you don't do it. Competence is not built in that, because you don't actually have enough pressure to push you to become great at that thing. You need extra pressure, something that will force you to become really good at it. Think of it this way. You don't become a really good fighter by just watching fights. In fact, the people who watch are one of the poorest fighters in the world. You don't need to watch it. Maybe analyzing. you need to practice. You need to actually practice. You don't become really good at business by just watching YouTube videos, watching big creators make content. You need to actually do the business. And you most certainly don't become confident by just reading books and observing and thinking. You must go out and actually practice it. That is how you become confident. Pressure creates adaptation, and competition is the highest form of pressure. You don't rise alone, you rise against people. Most people try to become someone great alone, and this is a really wrong mindset to have. You have no pressure. Someone who is your nightmare, or who when you feel is becoming better than you in something, then you just freak the hell out. You don't have someone who you can compare to your progress. Someone who when you compare results, you feel like you're better than him or he's better than you. You don't have enemies, people that you actually need to dominate something to prove them wrong. And so you just live like that. You decide to be a lone wolf. You choose to say these beautiful words like you're competing with yourself. There's no such thing as competing with yourself. And this is actually the right time for you to develop this great mindset that you need to compete. Competition is actually healthy. And whoever says that he's competing against himself, he's actually being like a low value kind of man. Everyone at the top is competing. And if you're not competing, then you need to look at your life twice. I remember in school, we had these intense study sessions. We used to study really hard, and as much as people did not like to say they were in a competition, we actually used to compete. There was a time I had my friend and I was telling him to actually wake me up really early so that I could read. And you know what happened? He never actually woke me up, and something just clicked in me, and I just woke up, maybe from natural instinct, and I went to the classroom and I found him there reading. And that is when I realized we are actually like in a competition and everyone wants to win. No one wants to fail. So it's actually easier for you to fail so that they can win. You get it? So that they win the competition. So we are really competing. But people like to say these politically correct things like they don't need competition, and it's actually a wrong mindset to have. Every great person that you know has rivals, and if you look closely you will notice it. Rivals force you to grow. They force you to become an elite kind of man. You just think that you'll get dominated, and when they dominate you, they will take everything that you want in life. Maybe that beautiful woman that you want, maybe those cars, those really luxurious cars, maybe the money. And when they dominate you, they get the money and you don't. You end up being a loser. So thinking like this actually makes you push to your limits. You just choose to become great. And when you choose to live like this, you will become like that animal. That brutal animal that is willing to dominate everyone and everything across him. And just imagine if you have that kind of mindset, what kind of man are you going to be with that kind of mindset? the opposite is true. Without a rival, you'll move really slowly because you'll not see the need to actually work hard. You'll just think that you have all the time in the world and you're competing with yourself, so you'll always win. You see how destructive that is. And the last point is, the first time you win, everything changes. Right now, you just doubt yourself because you don't have proof that you're great. You have not won anything in life to show that you're great, and you don't have the proof. So you just doubt yourself. You just think that you're mediocre, you're a loser. I was like a failed trader for the longest time in my life. And the moment I started making real progress that can be verified, that is when my confidence became real and I started to make more and more results. Once you beat someone in a sport or you outperform them, then that is enough proof to show that you are great. It's actually been proven. Fighters get 40% better after winning the belt. The time they get maybe the UFC belt, then they become really better at defending. They have that second instinct. They think they're the best in the world, and belief is all you need. Also, it's also been proven that the winning team, the team that has maybe scored in a game, the first people to score, they're the ones who actually have more testosterone because they believe they can win. And when you start believing you can win, just imagine how much you are going to dominate things, how good you're actually going to become in your craft. Actually start thinking differently. You start telling yourself you can actually do this. Winning builds belief, and belief is what actually shapes your future. It's what actually separates the dangerous from the average. Let me leave you with this. The more you avoid competition, the more you've accepted weaknesses. The moment you avoid pressure, the more you become mediocre. If you avoid being tested, then you will never truly know what you are capable of. You don't need more videos, more motivational videos, more videos to teach you how to do things. You don't need more planning, writing down things that you need to do without actually doing the thing. You need to get yourself into places that can actually cause you to lose, because that is the same place that will actually shape you to become a winner, to become a really competent person. 1 year from now, you will either become sharper, stronger, respected, or exactly the same, a mediocre loser. We won't need to scratch our heads to figure out why you are still in that place. And it will be because of one decision. Did your ego make you chase comfort and remain average? Or did you actually chase competition and become great? Become the greatest your bloodline has ever seen, and then pass it down.